Hey, it's Peter, and welcome to the template for the video sales letter video. So this is probably one of the most popular and widely used marketing videos online, especially among us internet marketing types of people. Basically, like I said here, a video sales letter is a long form sales letter in video form, basically. They typically range from 5 to 7 minutes in length for a low ticket offer, usually under $97, or 20 minutes on up to an hour or more for offers in the higher ticket range, around $197, $497, into the thousands of dollars, because you need more time to sell a more expensive product. So you can often see video sales letters being used to sell info products, video courses, software, WordPress plugins, coaching, consulting, and all kinds of high-ticket services, health supplements even. They're used among many different niches, not just in not just in online marketing. So it totally depends on the business that you're in. But basically, to see an example of one of my best video sales letters, I've made a bunch over the years, but one of my favorites that I've made for myself anyways is the one I made for Promo Video Pro, which is one of my other products. So if you want to see a good example of a good video sales letter that's brought in thousands of dollars in sales, again, related back to, or sales that can be credited back to this sales video, then you definitely want to check out this video here. I've gotten a lot of compliments on this, people writing to me saying they bought this product because they love the video so much. So take a few minutes and check that video out. Watch it from beginning to end. It's just under 19 minutes long, and it might not follow this format exactly, but it has the overall similar structure here. So every video sales letter that you make is not going to follow this exact format. It might stray from it a little bit differently, but they're going to have all of these key elements. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So I'm just going to walk you through the different key parts of a video sales letter, and each one has a bunch of information that goes with it, and I'm just going to walk you through it and basically help you write your script for your next video sales letter. So every video sales letter should start out with an introduction of some kind, obviously because people want to know who is actually speaking to them in the video. You don't just want to open up the video and just start talking and assume that they know who you are. And unless you're a famous person or you're well known in your niche, you should always start off your video sales letter with an introduction. Who are you? Specifically come out and say who you are. Say your name and just give a brief introduction about yourself. Don't go overboard here, but just say your name, what it is that you do, and then go into saying, why are you making this video? It's always nice to have a reason why when you're telling a story, because videos are all about storytelling. So it's always good to have a reason why you're making this video. Why are you making this video? Why is this person, or why should this person who's watching your video care that you made this video? Tell them what you're going to tell them. This is another thing that I try to remember every time I make a video. You always want to capture the attention of your viewer, and your aim is to keep that attention through the entire length of the video. But naturally, people are going to drop off as they get further through the video. But if you can, in the very beginning, tell them what you're going to tell them, what's in store for them if they stick around, that's obviously going to increase the chance of them sticking around and watching your entire video, because you told them what you're going to tell them. They know what they're going to, they know what they can expect if they stick around. And also, make sure you tell them what they'll get out of the video. Just because it's a sales video doesn't mean that, it shouldn't be educational or helpful in nature. Yeah, we're going to be selling something here, but it's always good practice to always be providing value of some kind to the viewer. The video should be worth watching. It shouldn't just be a straight up pitch for something. It should be helpful. It should get your viewer thinking. It should get your viewer interested in what you're talking about, and it should help them in some way, whether they buy your product or not. So again, tell them what they're going to get out of it. If they're going to learn 3 tips on how to get more chiropractor clients, then tell them that. And then at the end of the video, you can pitch your paid service. Another thing I really believe in when it comes to selling through video is storytelling, telling your personal story. You notice I do this a lot in my videos. It's because people can connect with stories. They like to know who's behind the screen, if you will. They like to know that there's a real person over there with, people who had, or someone who faced similar struggles to them, someone who has experienced the same problems as them. They just want to know that you're a real person. So tell your story. Talk about how you got started. Talk about the struggles you faced in the beginning. And then start to talk about the problem that we're going to talk about in this video sales letter. So selling is all about solving problems, which we're going to talk about here soon. And this video sales letter format here is all about identifying a problem that you had, or you know someone who had this problem. The problem just so happens to be the same problem that your viewer has, and we'll talk about why we're going to do it that way in a minute here. And then we're going to agitate that problem and really turn the knife, if you will, and kind of talk about the implications of the problem, how the problem could get worse if they do nothing about it. And then we're going to propose a solution to that problem, and that solution is our product. So any product or service will have a problem associated with it, whether it's your own story, whether it's a customer you can tell their story, or made up customer, or an avatar, or whatever. You always need to start out your video sales letters with a story. If it's not how you got started or the struggles you faced, maybe you can pick a customer of yours, problems they had and problems they faced before they solved their problem with your product. So this is where we start to talk about the problem. And I'll just keep going back to my own examples here. Actually, another good example is a video sales letter I just made for a product called Video Black Belt, which is another product that I offer. And when I start off in that video telling my story, the whole point of the video sales letter was to sell my video training course. And in order to do that, I had to get the viewer to believe that I knew what I was talking about when it came to making awesome videos. So in order to do that, I had to talk about how I got into video. And in order to do that, I had to talk about, how I, quit my job and started my business and got into video. So I talked about the struggles I had in the beginning with video, how I made embarrassing videos and lost clients because of it. So I basically told my personal story, and I was starting to talk about the problem, which was not knowing how to make awesome videos. So hopefully that makes sense. And like I said, we just touched on this a little bit, but why tell a story? It's to build rapport with the viewer. You want to create that trust and credibility with them. They need to know you're a real person. And also, this is a big one right here, is it gives your viewer a mirror to look through so that they can admit that they have a problem. So people don't like to admit that they have problems, but they're more than happy to listen to someone else talk about their problems that they also have. So, for example, if I had a problem with, I wanted to quit smoking, for example, and I was looking online for a product on how to help me quit smoking. In the back of my mind, I know that I need to quit, but I don't actually want to admit that I can't. And I don't want to admit that smoking has taken over my self-control and I can't quit. So I'm more than likely to listen to someone else talk about how smoking took over their life and how it controlled their life, and the urge to smoke was stronger than their will to quit. I'm more than likely and more than happy to listen to that person talk about their struggles than admit that I have those problems. For example, if someone calls me out and says I'm weak and I can't quit smoking on my own, I'm automatically going to go into denial and shut down and probably, close the video. But if that person talks about their struggles, I can actually relate to those problems, and I can admit to myself that I have those problems by listening to their story, if that makes sense. So I'm more apt to listen to what they're telling me because they're telling it to me through their point of view. Okay, so always be telling, when you describe your problems, always be describing them as your problems or someone else's problems. Don't actually call out your viewer, say you have a problem or you suck at this. Don't do that. Always use yourself or someone else or an avatar or a theoretical customer as an example. So, for example, obviously, tell your story. So that's basically it for the introduction. Say who you are, why you're making this video here today. Tell your story very briefly, and of course, tell your story because it allows you to connect with your customer, and it allows your customer to admit their struggles and their problems without actually being called out on them. So after you got the introduction done, you move into the problem identification phase of the video sales letter. So the introduction might last anywhere from a minute to up to 5 minutes in length. It totally depends on how long your story is and how you present it. There's really no time limit here. Just don't make your introduction the entire length of the video, because people obviously, they obviously like listening. They want to hear your story, but they're not going to sit through 20 minutes of you talking about nothing but yourself. So try to keep this under 5 minutes at max. So after the introduction is out of the way, you've built the foundation for the problem. You've got the viewer admitting, yeah, I might have this same problem too. Then they're interested in learning more. So this is where you can start to talk about the problem a little bit more. So like I said here, this is where you start to talk about the problem your product or service solves. So eventually we're going to introduce a solution, a product or service that solves this problem. We're not going to say that yet. We're just going to talk about the problem in specifically, and we're going to identify this as a problem that we or someone else that we know has faced. And like I said, I've already said some of this stuff here, so I'm just going to skip right through it. People don't like to admit their problems, but they will gladly listen to yours. Gives them a mirror to look through, helps them admit they have a problem, and they will resist you if you tell them that they have a problem. And the last reason why you want to tell your problem or tell your story and explain the problem through a story is because everyone loves a hero. Everyone loves to hear a story of someone who overcame their problems, someone who was broke and made millions and all that stuff. Everyone likes this stuff. It's called the rise and fall technique, or that's what I like to call it. So we see this being used in movies all the time. Every movie has a hero, and the hero usually always wins. And like I said, people like to see how others overcame their struggles, especially if they're the same struggles that they're experiencing themselves. So let's go through a few examples here. Let me put some of these away here. So just a few examples could be, I hated my job and I didn't make enough money to support my family. I saw how others were making a killing online, so I quit my job and started my own business, but I didn't have a plan, so I ran into trouble. So the problem here could be that this guy hated his job and he couldn't make enough money to support his family and do the things that he wanted to do. He saw how others were making a bunch of money online and he wanted to start his own online business. So he quit his job, started his business, and then soon ran into trouble because he didn't know what he was doing. So that could be the problem identification. And then you actually move into the next phase, which is where you actually agitate the problem. I like to call this twisting the knife, if you will. And this is basically where you talk about the very specific details of the problem. So the problem here in this example was actually a few problems here embedded here. One, the viewer could hate their job and still have a job. They could probably have a job and not make enough money, and they're looking for a different way to make money. So they could probably want to start their own online business, or they could already have a business that's failing. So there's actually 3 potential problems embedded in this story already. So this video could actually appeal to 3 different people. So what we're going to do now is we start to agitate the problem. We explain how the problem got worse for us or the person we're talking about, as long as it's not the viewer. and we actually show them what's in store for them if they don't take action to solve the problem. Again, without exactly or specifically calling the viewer out. So we actually talk about what happened to us or how the problem got worse. So up here we have, let's see here, we have the problem where, again, he quit his job, started his own business, didn't have a plan, so he ran into trouble. So what does that mean? Well, that means that he couldn't pay his bills. It means that he had to live off ramen noodles for months. It means that his wife left him. It means that he had to get a job at McDonald's, work in the drive-thru for minimum wage. It meant that his friends and family laughed at him and thought he was a joke. So these are all implications of this problem, okay? So it's very important to not just call out the problem, but talk about how the problem got worse for you or how it got worse for your subject. And even if your viewer is not at this phase yet, they're going to know what's in store for them too if they don't do something about fixing their problem. So they may be at this phase already, and they may be at a job they hate. They may not have quit yet. They may not have started their business, but maybe they've thought about it, okay? And they know they probably don't have a plan. Well, if you're down here telling them all the things that happened to you because you did these things, then they know this is what's in store for them if they don't have a plan. So your product or your solution could be exactly like a video course on how to start up your profitable online business in under 30 days, for example. So make sure you go in and agitate that problem. No matter what your product or service is, there's always a way to do this. For just as another example, if you're pitching landscaping services, well, the problem could be that your yard looked terrible and people made fun of you all the time because your lawn was brown and it looked like crap. And you went to sell your house one day and no one wanted to buy it because it just didn't look good or something like that. And then you could go in to agitate the problem to say that you ended up not being able to sell your house despite buying a new house, and you had to sell your old house to move into the new one or whatever. You could just talk about that problem, talk about how it got worse, talk about how you ran out of money because you had to pay both mortgages. Whatever worst case scenario would be with the problem, that's what you're going to talk about here. And again, it doesn't matter what business you're in, there's always a way to do it. So after you've agitated the problem, this is where you're going to propose a solution to the problem. So we're not introducing anything yet. We're still not talking about our product. We're still not even introducing the solution yet. We're just going to propose a solution. What if a solution existed? So we're just going to talk about that now. So this is where we talk about the solution that we found. So going back to the guy who quit his job to make more money, and he didn't have a plan, so he ran out of money and his wife left him and his whole life fell apart. Well, this is where we can talk about the solution that he found. So the solution could be that he came across an awesome secret formula for starting up and running a business in under 30 days, or taking a business to $10,000 a month in under 60 days, or something like that. You just need to talk about the solution that you found, how it helped you turn things around. And the reason we're doing this is twofold. Number one, we're getting ready, we're setting them up for our product, okay? And we're also trying to lift their spirits and create hope. So by this point in the video, their mood is probably down in the depressed range, okay? They're going through some pretty gloomy storytelling here. They're hearing about all these life problems that you're talking about, all the bad things that you went through, and then here is where you actually lift their spirits and you want to create some hope in their mind. Show them how your solution helped you. Did it help you get more customers? Did it help you get more profits? Did it help you make more money so you could go on more vacations with your family? Did it help you buy that exotic car that you always wanted? Did it help you make more money so you can work less and spend more time with your family? What did it do? How did the solution help you? And then finally, once you show them how things turned around for you, so everything, we've done a 180 now. So we've gone through all the downtimes. Now we're starting to turn around. We've found a solution to our problem. We still haven't told them that they can have that same solution. We've just told them, what worked for us. And now we're going to offer the viewer a chance to take advantage of that same solution. So we could ask them how their life would change if this same solution was available to them. How would they benefit? How would their life change for the better? And this is where you can actually, in the video, say, just imagine how your life would be with an extra $10,000 a month in income, or just imagine how your life would be if you could get the phone numbers of any girl that you walked up to in the bar, or obviously if you're doing a dating product or something like that. Or just imagine what your neighbors would think of you if you had the greenest lawn in the neighborhood, or something like that. You just want to get them imagining what their life would be like if they had the same solution that you had. And again, just a few examples here. This is where you actually talk about, or this is how you can actually talk about the solution. So the solution could be something that you stumbled upon. It could be a step-by-step formula for doing something. It could be how you experimented with something and cracked the code to doing a certain thing. You want to ask them, what if they could get their hands on this same formula? So the key here is not telling them exactly everything that you know. You want to tell them the what, but not the how. So if you did discover a step-by-step formula for creating the greenest lawn ever, tell them tell them the results of that, but don't tell them how you did it. Don't tell them the step-by-step details. Just show them the results of that. Show them how it helped you. Show them how it turned things around for you. Just don't tell them the secret recipe, because that's going to be in the product. So after you propose the solution, if they've made it this far, they're on board with you. Okay, so you've taken them through this roller coaster ride of emotion here. You pretty much have got them to admit to themselves that they have the problem. You've painted a picture of what's in store for them if they don't fix that problem, so they know they need a solution. You've actually talked about your solution, and you've asked them if they, how their life would change for the better if they had the same solution. So at this point, you are perfectly set up to introduce your solution. And I don't know why these are all expanded like that. They shouldn't be. So this is where we actually introduce our solution or our product. So our product serves as the solution to the problem that we've been talking about this whole time, and it's the how. So again, in the solution, where we talk about the solution, we talk about the what, but here is where we actually give them the chance to learn the how, exactly how we solve the problem. So this is where you actually introduce your product. You say the name of your product. This is the Green Lawn Maker Program 5000. It's a 17-part video series that walks you step by step on how to cultivate the greenest lawn on the block in under 30 days guaranteed. So you want to quickly introduce the product, say the name, briefly introduce it with 2 to 3 sentence overview, nothing extravagant yet, but then you actually go into talking about what they get. Like I just said, be specific about what they get. Is it 10 step-by-step videos? Is it a 17-page PDF? What exactly are they getting? And then to add even more value, you want to talk about some bonuses. You always want to include bonuses where you can. And your bonuses should always enhance the product. They shouldn't make the product complete. They shouldn't, the product should not be incomplete without the bonus. The bonus should only add more value or enhance the main product. It could make the product turnkey, for example. So maybe if you're selling a video course on how to start up and run your own business, okay, then maybe your bonus could be a software program that gets them free traffic to their website or something like that, or finds them leads on autopilot. Basically, it enhances that main product. It could help them get faster results. And after you introduce your product, this is where you actually, before you introduce the price, we're not introducing the price yet. That's going to be down in the call to action. So this is where you just actually give them a sneak peek of your product. What exactly do you have? And once you've introduced it, tell them what the product is, what they're going to get. Here's where you actually go into stack the value. This is where you talk about the value of everything. So if you have a 10 module video course, go through and give each module of that video course a dollar value. Maybe each module is worth $97. Maybe it's worth $197. And maybe the bonuses are worth $497. Go through and add up all those values and put the total value of everything on the screen. Say, for example, each module, or the information in each module is easily worth $197, and the bonus is worth $497. And if you can add some reasoning behind those dollar amounts, do that. Perhaps you could say each module is worth $497 because that's how much money I made when I implemented these tactics in my business, for example. So when you propose the solution to them up here, you say, well, how would your life change if you had this? What if you could take advantage of the same formula that I used? And then this is where you actually say it in your video. You say, well, now you can. Introducing the Profit Maker 2000 or the Green Lawn Maker 5000. So that's how it would actually go into introduce the product and then say what's exactly inside, what they get, and talk about what it's all worth. So after you've introduced the product, talk about what they get, talk about the value, we still have not introduced the price yet, where we still have some important things to do. The next step is the social proof step. So this is where you actually talk about testimonials, or if you have testimonials for your product, or people who have been through it, people who have bought your product or service, people who are satisfied with you. This is where you actually put those things in the video. So these could be successful customers, students, or clients. And it doesn't have to be for that particular product. It could be someone who bought a related product or service from you, who is also happy with that product or service. And you could say something like, these are people who have invested in my products or invested in my services before. Here's what they had to say. So it doesn't have to be for that exact product or service. It could be for something else that you offer. Another thing, people think that testimonials need to be word for word. So you don't actually have to get a testimonial from someone to actually use them as an example. So I've done this before where I know that someone has bought my product and they've had good results with it. And all I did is I just used a picture of them and said, so-and-so had this kind of result with my product. And I obviously got their permission to do that, but I didn't need a word-for-word testimonial from them. I just used them as an example in the video. Again, check out some of my other videos here. Promo Video Pro, Video Black Belt are probably two of my best video sales letters where you can see this kind of stuff in action. And if you can do it, if you can swing it, video testimonials are always best. If you can get your customers on camera, always include those in the video where you can. So after you've shown some testimonials, here's where you can actually get into some proof elements, through screenshots. If you are selling a product related to how to make money or a business-to-business type product, this is probably going to apply to you. If not, then we can always show some other type of screenshot. If you're, again, let's go back to the landscaping example. If you're trying to show that your product brings people the greenest lawn in the neighborhoods, perhaps you can show a screenshot of some of your customers' lawns, how great they look, or put their home with the sold sign in front of it to show that the green lawn helped sell the house. Whatever it is that you can do to show that your customers had success with your product, do that here. And these can be results of you or of your customers. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get them seeing these kind of results as being possible for them, because if it worked for you or if it worked for others, it can also work for them. So it's really important to show very specific results, whether it's a monetary result or getting a greener lawn, learning how to wax your car so it looks showroom perfect, showing cars that look really clean, whatever it may be, whatever problem your product solves or service solves, show screenshots of the end result. And just a few more examples before we move on. One example could be for the testimonial. It could be Julie quit her job and made $1 gazillion in the past 60 days with this. And then here's proof that this is working for me. And you could show screenshots. So once you've got the social proof, now it's time to finally ask them or tell them how to order. So this is the call to action. So this is where you actually finally reveal the price and tell them how to order. So you don't want to just end the video and assume they know how to order. You actually have to tell them what to do. So before you do that, you're going to reveal the price. So before we reveal the price, we're going to reference the total value again up here, where we stacked the value and got the total value of all the modules or whatever it may be, plus the bonuses. We want to reference that total value again, and then finally, once we reference that, then we cross that out in the video and we reveal the final price. So let's say the total value is $1,997. You could say, as we discussed before, all this stuff is worth $1,997, but you're obviously not going to have to pay that. You can get it today for just one payment of $97. Okay, so that's how that would work. And then you actually go into telling them how they can actually order. What do they have to do to place this order? What are the exact steps? So what I like to do is I like to say specifically what they need to do. Below this video, there should be an orange Buy Now button. Go ahead and click that Buy Now button to place your order, and you'll be instantly taken to the checkout page. So that's where I like to talk about what happens when they order. So people like to know how they actually get access to something, or how the service is going to be rendered. When do they actually get the thing they bought? So again, using digital products as an example, what happens when they order? And then I would go on to say, once you complete the checkout process through PayPal, your login details will be instantly emailed to you, where you can access the private members area and immediately download everything that you just bought. Or if you're doing a physical product, you could say, once you complete the checkout process, you will receive an order notification from us via email, and your order will ship out within 24 hours via next day FedEx Air or something like that. And next, we want to talk about, or we need to give them a reason why they should order right now, or why they need to order right now instead of waiting for later. So people like to put things off. Especially when it comes to buying something, they'll make up excuses of why they don't need to buy it right now, and eventually they'll end up changing their mind and not buy it at all. So you want to get them buying right now, and not tomorrow, not later, not 5 minutes from now, right now. So you need to give them a reason for that. So you can either do that with limited copies, or you can do it with a time limited offer. So if you can use these two together, that's obviously better. But if you can put a limit on the amount of copies you're going to sell, or how many units you have in stock, or how many clients you can take on for your service, or whatever it may be, reference that limit here. Maybe you can only work with 5 clients at once. Maybe you can only sell 100 copies of your course. Or maybe that you're running a limited time sale, and in 5 days the price is going to go up, or it's going to double. Whatever the case may be, you need to give them that reason why they need to order right now. If you don't, your conversions are going to be much lower than if you did use this element. You always want to be using some type of scarcity element, okay? And then, just as an example, format here for the call to action flow, it would basically go like this, like I said. So you're probably wondering what the price is. Remember how we talked about earlier, how it's all worth $1,997, as we just talked about. If you order today, you can get it for just one payment of $97. Click the orange button below to order. Once you complete the checkout process, you'll be taken to the members area, where you can get the product, etc. And then finally, where we bring in the scarcity, Don't delay. This is a limited time special offer that expires once the timer hits 0. Click the orange button below to order, and I'll see you on the inside. So that's the basic rundown of a typical video sales letter. If you have any questions, just let me know. But basically, if you go through this and follow this, step by step as you're writing your script, then you shouldn't have a problem. This is the same format that I use whenever I create video sales letters for me or clients. And a lot of my videos have made thousands of dollars, and if it works for me, then I know it will work for you. So I'll see you in the next mind map.